Good morning, wonderful, amazing, fantastic algebra students. I hope this video finds you well. I hope that you are remaining safe and healthy over this school closure period. Today I'm just coming to you to review some of the topics we've gone over in algebra, just to keep your brains fresh with math. But I'm also going to start sharing my daily meditations that I've been doing and journaling about, and that might give you guys something else to do to kind of take your mind off what's going on right now. But let's get into this math first for algebra. So the algebra topic for today was reviewing how to solve two-step equations. Yesterday we did one-step equations. Today the topic is two-step equations. So we'll do 3 examples on the handout that is posted on Google Classroom to help you guys kind of remember how to do those kind of problems. So let's start with problem number 1. So in problem 1, we're given the equation negative 28 equals negative 2 times the quantity negative 6 plus n. So now this equation is going to require 2 steps for us to actually solve it. The way that I've taught you guys, I'll show you another way later in the video, but the way we've been doing it is making sure both sides are simplified. So there's no way to simplify the side with just 28, so we just brought that down. Negative 28 is on the left side. On the right side, we can distribute this negative 2 into the parentheses. When we're distributing, we're using the operation of multiplication. So we're doing negative 2 times negative 6 gets us 12. Negative 2 times n gets us negative 2n. So the right side of our equation simplifies to 12 minus 2n. Now we want to get that n by itself, and we have 2 things we want to move now. So we want to move the positive 12 and, remember, negative 2 because of that subtraction sign. We want to move the positive 12 and negative 2, but we can only move one at a time. It's always the easiest and the only way you can really do it is to move the term or the number, whatever you want to call it, that is not attached to a variable. So let's think about if we were solving this, or simplifying this, using order of operations. We would multiply these first, and then we would do 12 minus whatever that number is. However, when you are solving equations, we're working backwards. So we have to start by moving this first with inverse operations. So we're going to subtract 12 from both sides first. These cancel out. 12 minus 12 is 0. 0 minus 2n is negative 2n. So the negative 2n comes down. And the negative 28 minus 12 gets us negative 4. Also remember, we have to make sure we do the same thing on both sides of the equation. So that's why 12 was subtracted on both sides to keep it balanced. So now our equation is negative 40 equals 2n, negative 2n, excuse me. And we want to isolate this n by dividing this negative 2. When a number is next to a variable, that is multiplication. The opposite or inverse operation for multiplication is division. So that is why we're dividing both sides by negative 2. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 is 1. 1 times n is just n, so we're left with just n here. And then negative 40 divided by negative 2 gets us 20. So that's why we're left with 20. So our final answer is 20 equals n for problem number 1. The next problem we're doing is problem number 2. You guys probably saw it. So problem 2, the equation that we're given is, I believe that's an r, if I'm mistaken. Oh no, it's another n. Yeah. So n minus 9 over 10 equals negative 1. N minus 9 over 10 equals negative 1. That's what we're solving now. This equation is actually very similar to the first, but instead of distributing the 10 with multiplication, when it's written with this fraction bar, remember that's division. So if we were doing it the way we did the first one, we could distribute the 10 with division, but that's not really going to help us because then we'll have a lot of fractions. So instead of distributing this 10, we're going to multiply both sides by 10 to cancel it. So keep in mind, if we were working with order of operations and simplifying, we would do the top first. We would do whatever n is minus 9 and then divide by 10. But when we're solving, we're working backwards. So we want to cancel this 10 out first with division. So multiplying both sides by 10, 10 divided by 10 is 1. 1 times this quantity is just this remaining quantity, n minus 9. On the right side, we had negative 1 times 10, which gets us negative 10. So now we have n minus 9 equals negative 10. To get n by itself, we're going to add 9 to both sides. Negative 9, remember this is negative because of the subtraction. Negative 9 plus 9 is 0. N plus 0 is just n. And then negative 10 plus 9 gets us negative 1. So our final answer for this one is n equals negative 1. Keep in mind, the whole side was divided by 10. So we have to start by multiplying by 10 in order to isolate that top, the numerator, the top portion, n minus 9. Number 11 is a little different, but it still involves division. So in number 11, we have the equation n minus 8, n divided by 8 minus 2 equals 0. For this particular problem, only the n is divided by 8. So if we were simplifying a problem like this using order of operations, we would do whatever that number is, let's say 24, divided by 8, and then subtract 2. So again, when solving equations, we are working backwards, trying to undo to figure out what that value has to be. So we have to move this -2 first. To move this -2, we're going to add 2 to both sides because -2 plus 2 is 0. So then we are left with n divided by 8 plus 0, which is just n divided by 8. Keeping our equation balanced, we're going to add 2 to the right side as well. 0 plus 2 is just 2. So now, in order to move this 8 to isolate the n, we are going to multiply by 8. Because we see with this fraction bar that n is being divided by 8, and we have to use inverse operations. So we're multiplying 8 on both sides. 8 divided by 8 is 1. 1 times n is just n. On the other side, we have to multiply to keep the equation balanced. 2 times 8 is 16. So we are left with our final answer of n equals 16. So that concludes the review of two-step equations on the packet assignment that was given on Google Classroom. Now we're going to look at the assignment that was given through Khan Academy. Similar problems, just doing some more examples for those who wanted to do the Khan Academy option as well. So for number 1, the equation we were given was j divided by -2 plus 7 equals -12, I believe. Yes. So this is similar to the last problem that we just did. The first thing you want to do is move this 7, again, because if we were doing order of operations, we would divide this first. So basically we want to isolate whatever is closest to the variable. So the -2 is closest, it's included in the same term, so we want to get this whole thing by itself first. We're going to subtract 7 because it's positive. 7 minus 7 is 0. J divided by -2 plus 0 is still j divided by -2. We're subtracting 7 from both sides to keep the equation balanced. -12 minus 7 gets us -19. Lastly, to isolate the j, we have to move this -2. This fraction bar means that j is being divided by -2. The opposite of division is multiplication, so we're going to multiply both sides by -2 to keep the equation balanced. -2 divided by -2 is 1. 1 times j is j, so we are left with j. -2 times -19 is positive 38. So our final answer for this first problem is positive 38. Second problem, I actually did it 2 ways unintentionally. I did it the more intuitive way that I haven't really shown, but I also did it the regular way that we've kind of gone over in class multiple times, just to keep things consistent. Let me focus though. I'm going to start by going through the regular distribution way. So again, we want to simplify the left side of the equation first. This is my left. So we want to distribute this -4 into the parentheses. So -4 is multiplied by 1w. Remind there's a 1 in front of this w. And -4 is multiplied by 1. So that simplifies to -4w minus 4. This side remained the same because there is nothing to simplify. There's still a -24. So now to get w by itself, we want to add 4 to both sides. Again, we want to move the term that is not directly associated with the w. And we'll keep in mind that we're doing the opposite of order of operations. So we're going to add 4 to both sides first, because it says a -4. -4 plus 4 is 0. -4w plus 0 is still -4w. -24 plus 4 is -20. That's how we got this step of the equation. So now we want to move this -4 to get w by itself. When a number is next to a variable, that is multiplication. Opposite of multiplication is division, so we're going to divide both sides by -4. -4 divided by -4 is 1. 1 times w is just w. -20 divided by -4 is positive 5. So our final answer for this one is going to be positive 5. Again, some of you might have already seen the other way. Sorry, for those who are still looking. Pause it if you need to. For those of you who might have already seen the other way that I solved the equation and still got the same answer, it kind of uses the method that we used in the second problem on the Khan Academy handout. So technically, this whole thing is being multiplied by -4. So if we wanted to use order of operations, we want to cancel this multiplication out with division. So we can divide both sides by -4, which gets us w plus 1 equals 6. -24 divided by -4 got us 6. Then we would subtract 1 from both sides to get w by itself, and we still get that final answer of w equals 5. So here are two methods we can use to solve equations that are written like this. Again, this is more similar to the problems that we're going to see that have the whole side divided by a number. We would use the same thought process. I believe I have one more. The last one in the Khan Academy that looked kind of different, it's actually not that bad, it's basically the second step after you distribute, was -11b plus 7 equals 40. So the first thing you want to do is think of the opposite of order of operations. So since you would simplify this first, you want to move this 7 first. We have plus 7, so we want to subtract 7 from both sides to keep the equation balanced, and so this side cancels. 7 minus 7 is 0. -11b plus 0 is -11b. 40 minus 7 is 33. Finally, to get the b by itself, we want to divide by -11 on both sides to keep the equation balanced. We're dividing because a number next to a variable is multiplication, and the opposite of multiplication is division. When we divide both sides by 11, -11. -11 divided by -11 is 1. 1 times b is just b. 33 divided by -11 is -3. So our final answer is b equals -3. And that concludes our review today on two-step equations. Again, like I said, I'm going to review the daily meditation that I did today for those who might be interested. Just another thing, not really math-related to get your mind off of what's going on today in society. So the daily meditation that was posted on Google Classroom was, why is it important to take the time to be still and reflect? My response was, allowing time for stillness and reflection gives us the opportunity to focus on our energy on what we are truly called to do. Reflections grant peace of mind by forcing us to plan and adapt to whatever life throws at us, like the coronavirus. Given our current situation, now is an excellent time to practice reflecting on where we are in our lives and how we can use this time to continue to grow and mature as individuals. So take the time, reflect on that, question yourselves and see if you come up with a different response, which I'm sure you will. And if you have any questions about your grade, what you can do to improve your grade, or just some more math things you might want to focus on during this time off, feel free to reach out to me through email or text or Google Classroom, or even commenting in this video. I have seen some of you comment and respond to those accordingly. I thank you for watching, and I will talk to you soon. See ya.